It's Wombat Jones for Ramen Chokehold here with a very special guest. I am here with two-time UFC Heavyweight Champion of the world, Frank Mir. How you going, champion?
Doing well, man. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming on now. We're obviously here for ACB 88. We've got a massive card in store. So why don't we just talk about the card a little bit? Obviously, main event, we're looking at Karol Selinsky. He's taking on Luke Barnett from England. What do you think about that fight?
I think it's super exciting. It's to be a very good striking matchup. Even though Luke Barnett is a very good grappler, he was even down there working the last couple of weeks there with Vinny Michaelis. He still keeps it on his feet. He's an extremely long, lanky fighter who has great ability to use a right hand. So far, he's had a lot of knockouts in his last few fights. But Selinsky has phenomenal footwork. The guy is able to really move at all angles. He's super interesting to watch on his feet because of his combinations, his switching stance. Very technical fighter and also very long and rangy himself.
That's fact. And I can't wait for this, Carter, because we're talking about the co-main event now. And obviously, we lost our main event, unluckily enough. Thiago Silva couldn't make it in the country. However, that bumps up Australia's #1 lightweight in Callan Potter, and he's taking on Marcin Held. And that, for me, as an Aussie, really looking forward to that contest, mate.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult fight for him. Marcin is a very good fighter, and this is the type of opportunities that having the ACB coming here, having big shows. I mean, UFC and the Bellators of the world, we need more shows like that here that have opportunities. It's not always easy for the Aussies and the Kiwis to travel, and they're always in behind the 8 ball because as you travel 15, 16, 20 hours to get somewhere, it's not the easiest situation for competition. So having big shows here and having big turnouts, hopefully the ACB, we look to go ahead and make this a home that we're able to return to 3, 4, 5 times a year. It gives opportunities for guys to go ahead on this level to compete in the international and be pushed against guys that are being ranked in the top of the world.
And like you said, this is the second time that ACB's been back here in the space of, less than 6 months. Yeah. And I know that there's actually another show possibly coming up in the region as well. So yeah. We're looking at October maybe in New Zealand.
We are, and that way, like I said, it's something that right now, hopefully, we wanted to do 2 shows here in Australia in the fiscal year and have 1 done in New Zealand, and then hopefully we can up those numbers up, and that opportunities and that trickle down is going to help out the community here in Australia down under, getting better MMA, getting the opportunity to have where fighters then go ahead and have an option to go ahead and become full-time fighters because they're taking fights where they're able to make the kind of financial payback to where now they don't have to work day jobs. They can go ahead and just train at the gym, coach on the side, do private lessons, and you'll see that that's going to be what's going to increase the level of MMA when guys are able to go ahead and become full-time martial artists. And you're not able to do that unless you're able to perform on a show that's super high level, that gives you great exposure, and that exposure leads to sponsorships, and on top of that, the shows lead you to fight better fighters that are higher ranked, and you get, better pay.
And you've fought all around the world. You've been down here quite a few times. You've been here for many years now. What's the MMA scene for Australia like you? Can you see where it was, say, 10 years ago compared to now?
Well, I think that actually the Aussies are starving for it. I mean, like I said, there's some of the other big shows come here, but just not enough. They make the rotation because it's not always easy to go ahead and ship all these guys down here. It's expensive to fly and buy tickets. I mean, the same reason why you don't see a lot of Australian fighters on cards in Russia or in the US, because to fly a guy out here, anybody who travels knows you buy a ticket, it's more expensive, have the local guy come out, and then it's cheaper, he sells tickets. To bring the Aussie guy out there, it's not easy. So the fact is they've always been starving. Martial arts is big here. They've always had a strong kickboxing and boxing heritage here. Wrestling not as much, but judo is starting to get big here in jiu-jitsu, and I think that's accumulation of opportunities and that history of the striking arts already.
Yeah. So mate, how do we get tickets? I mean, there's a few. I don't think there's many tickets left, but there's a few tickets left for sale.
There's a few tickets left for sale. We can go on there on Russ.
ACB.net?
No, ACB.com.
Oh, yeah, we have it linked up to our main webpage, acb.com. You go on there, and there's a link on there that allows you to go ahead and get the tickets. For the few that we have left, come out, and it's going to be a great venue. I mean, we only hold about 3,000, so you're going to have a close-up against the cage. There's not a bad seat in the house, and you're going to be exposed to some of the best fighters in the world.
There it is. So there's Frank Mir. He'll be commentating tomorrow night. You can catch him with Brian Lacey and all the guys. Facebook Live, I believe we kick off around about 6 p.m.
Yes, we do. And then, like I said, you got to come out here and support the guys. I mean, you guys, one fighter out here in particular is Michael Tobin. He is a killer when it comes to jiu-jitsu. They call him the Great White. Phenomenal jiu-jitsu player who's, he's doing well right now in MMA, but he's fought some killers in ACB. I think right now he's 12-2. The guy really has potential to be a future star of the sport. He's probably one of the biggest guys on the card as far as future potential to be a superstar.
There you go, so make sure you get your asses down to the Chandler Arena. There's still some tickets left for sale. Thanks so much, Frank.
Yeah, awesome, man. Thank you.